Here's my notes. If the applicant's head gets larger behind the ears and down the neck, followed by a flatter face and a higher forehead, and a lower forehead, I'm sorry, he is of animalistic nature. His behaviors are animalistic, and you should treat him that way. This is the applicant that's not set up for bank work or the 9 to 5. That was written in the Career Quarterly 2008. My name's Jay Moran, and I'm a senior at Columbia College, soon to graduate. And my background is in social work and psychology, and I'm going to be moving on to pursue that. I want to look today at phrenology, nationalism, poverty, and just have you challenge some of the common beliefs of society. In this, we're going to talk about phrenology first. The whole basis was the breakup of the brain, okay, and bumps and bruises and indentations determined who you were, what your the personality was, and how you behaved. So we have back here, we have the animalistic tendencies down this neck, and we have secretism. We have people are more apt to fight to prove their points, and that they're sexual beings, that it doesn't matter how you go out and get it, you're going to get it, just like an animal. But in the front here, we have the ability to think, to organize, to reason. And the part of the reasoning is over here too. If your head is a bigger forehead, you could be a banker. If it's back here, you better be a hod carrier or concrete worker. And you're going to be treated as such. This was part of the application process. This did, however, Dr. Parsons' idea of this and how he examined was over probably in the 1920s for the most part. In 1910, it started losing popularity. But this lovely bust was made by John Fowler, and he made over thousands of them over this time period. Mark Twain walked into his office while he was in England because he saw this great big shingle that said he's all of these things in a phrenologist. Well, he was also a busk maker. And he said, how can you tell somebody's personality by bumps on their head? And I'm thinking, what's this mirror look like? What we got going on here? Because I don't want to be treated like an animal. I don't want to be carrying hide. So with this, it kind of leads me to nationalism. Nationalism, they decided that they were going to collect data on people. What is your cultural belief? What's your language? What do you believe, and how do you speak, and what do you look like? So Dr. Kagan wrote about that and how this collection of data was leading to schools being strictly for Spanish-speaking people, for Chinese, for Muslim schools. And the post offices and the courthouses would be all set up that way too. And nobody would have any questions about where they're going or what the processes were because they'd be in their language and the culture would lead to that way. So we find out through Fry in Western Culture History that this led to Nazism and Hitler because it was all segregation. Now we have Donald Trump saying, after the white supremacists shot up that rally, that there were good people there too. There's good people there. So that's more about we're wanting to make everybody speak English, or we want the Spanish people, or Spanish language all in one area. Kind of makes you think, is that the norm? And if we're thinking that, shouldn't somebody challenge that idea? So we have these things, and poverty comes in there too. Poverty is thought of, you're lazy. You just don't want to work. You don't look like you can't work. I get that one. Center for Poverty of the USC says 43.1 million people, which is our 14% of our US population, is in the poverty level. It's much more. There are, according to the Global Economy News, there's more people in poverty now than what there was. But the average American male that works 40 hours a week is making 14% less now, with the GDP still being 3 times what it is. Yet we're following a businessman that says we're going to get more business in here. We're going to make that gap possibly wider. I don't know. We need to challenge it. So if we look at these things, nationalism that led to Hitler, we look at phrenology and the shape of your head. And now we're looking at a wall and segregating people out to where they have their own newspapers too. We need to challenge thoughts of today. What everybody thinks is normal just may not be normal, and it's up to us to take a deeper look in there. So I urge you today to start challenging the norms and what people think and the ideas of today. And I want to thank you for coming out. Guys, I'll get an applause. Even though we have no cheese. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Notice I didn't say